We're on the road, and that means our usual weekend roundup of everything in the world of cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter vehicles is not happening. There also happens to be a pretty major event happening in Portland right now, which has resulted in the entire studio having no power whatsoever. So even if I was in Portland right now, you wouldn't be getting a regular edition of 10. We are in San Diego ahead of the Fully Charged Live Shows exhibition, which takes place tomorrow and Sunday. So if you're in the area and you're watching this on the Saturday, come down and say hello, because we've got swag and everything else. If you are watching elsewhere in the world, well, this is just a very brief roundup into the world of what's been going on this week in electric vehicles and clean technology and everything else. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield.
I'm Kate Walton-Elliott.
And we're going to go through some of the stories that have caught our eye this week. It's going to be completely unscripted. And as I said, because of aforementioned power cut back at the studio and the fact that the Ford F-150 Lightning that would have provided backup power is with us, not back at the studio, we don't have access to any of our B-roll. We don't have access to any of our usual kind of stingers or anything else. So we're really flying by the seat of our pants, I guess?
Yes, indeed, or trousers.
Yes, is it American trousers or is it pants American style or British style?
I don't know. Good question. Anyway, on with the news.
So we have to start with the fact that Electrify America has done something truly mind-blowing.
They've taken some time to invest in their network, which is something we've been complaining about for a while.
Right, so we've been making lots of trips lately, long-distance trips. We've been going long distances across America, and Electrify America's reliability has been getting worse and worse and worse. It's not something that just we have been experiencing. Kyle O'Connor from Out of Spec Motoring, he's been having issues. There have been other YouTubers who've also had issues, other journalists who've had issues, and so Electrify America has come up with a perfect solution.
Yes. Stickers.
They are rebranding the names given to Electrify America's charging levels. So you have hyperfast and ultra-fast, and I'm sure this cost a lot of money.
Yes, I'm sure it did. They don't seem to have a sticker for doesn't work.
No, and in fact, we were stopping yesterday at a charging station on our way down to San Diego. We were filming in LA yesterday, and we ended up in San Diego in the afternoon, ahead of going to an event at Aptera, which hopefully you guys will see a video from maybe on Sunday, maybe on Monday, depending on how quickly we can edit it out on the road. And 2 charging stations were working.
You might think 2 isn't too bad because, there's 4 units.
It'll be 50%.
There we go, yeah. Except this was 2 units out of about 10.
Weird. Yeah.
It wasn't fun going between all the units to find one that worked.
But, we can't criticise Electrify America completely because on the way down, on Tuesday, we got a message with 10 minutes warning that they were going to turn off the app. Something was going to happen to the app. It was going to be updated, and therefore the app might not work properly. But then it started to free vend. So our trip down here has been paid for by Electrify America. They gave us free electricity because their network was being updated in the middle of the day, 1 day after a national holiday here in the US.
1 day after a national holiday and before an event in San Diego where they're keynoting. So, yeah.
Oh well. So, other exciting news this week. Mercedes and Rivian sitting in a tree.
Yes.
KISS-ING. Indeed. In Europe, Mercedes-Benz and Rivian are going to get together and have a commercial vehicle baby.
Yeah. This is really, really incredible news because Mercedes Sprinter vans are the mainstay of European delivery.
And I think that it's going to be good news for commercial vehicles. If you're watching this in America, you might be going, what's the big deal about vans? Vans are very much like pickup trucks are here in North America.
Yeah.
They are used for everything. They're used for work delivery vehicles. They're used for getting supplies to building sites. They're basically the equivalent of a pickup because in Europe it rains all the time.
Yeah, and you can keep all your tools locked in the back without buying extra stuff other than a lock.
So it's quite an important acquisition. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to go into it right now. But I think, hey, Mercedes-Benz is going to benefit where Ford didn't, maybe?
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. All right, you have one that you want to discuss.
So Jeep, they have revealed some electric cars coming up.
No, electric SUVs.
Electric SUVs, yeah. Avenger, Recon, and the Wagoneer are the three that I remember.
And I think that has been down to dramatic competition, threatened competition from Ford. We know Ford is working on an electric crossover.
Yeah.
We know Ford is working on an electric SUV. And if you think about it, the F-150 Lightning could very easily become a full-size SUV. Because it's a body-on-frame chassis, as many full-size SUVs still are.
Yeah.
They could just turn that into an SUV. And I think Jeep has realised that the writing is on the wall. Of course, it's part of the Stellantis group, and Stellantis has been really, really pushing EVs lately. Even though Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, is like, bad things.
Yeah, they're too expensive. But the other thing that they're probably benefiting from is the acquisition of the European companies in Stellantis, which had a lot more electric experience than Jeep did.
That's true. Although, obviously, Carlos Tavares was in Europe, but rather than in and everything else. Talking about European off-roaders, Volkswagen has just unveiled a vehicle called the ID Extreme, which is an off-road kind of concept vehicle. It's the ID4 GTX on steroids, and it's for making it is just a concept right now. I expect we might see this in some overland races in the future. Volkswagen seems to be pushing that envelope, which is exactly what Volkswagen hinted at the beginning it would do.
Yeah.
Like a very boring, very functional, very almost perfunctory set of vehicles that weren't exciting. We didn't find them particularly exciting. But then make a performance version later down the line. That's a smart move because it gets more people buying EVs, and we go from there. Obviously, Volkswagen's benefiting from some of its sibling brands, Audi and Porsche, both of which have got a lot of experience in high-performance EVs.
Yeah, and to be fair, those vehicles are well suited to people transitioning from gas to electric. They are a much more tractable set of vehicles that people are likely to feel comfortable.
What's next?
So, talking concepts, Renault, they have unveiled the Renault 4 SUV concept.
I'm sorry, stop there.
I know it's another SUV, I'm sorry.
No. You cannot call... Those two names do not belong together. Renault 4 and SUV do not belong together.
Yeah. So this is going to be unveiled at the Paris Auto Show. It's sibling to the Renault 5, which they're bringing back as well.
The Renault 5 EV looks like the original Renault 5.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, even though it really is a bit of a crossover. But Renault 4 was designed as effectively a utilitarian rural transport vehicle that could, do the same kind of things as the Citroën de Cheveux. It's like the same kind of get in it,
cross
do
a ploughed
stuff.
field.
Yeah. And I don't know. I had a soft spot for the Renault 4.
Oh, yeah.
So
But it's SUVs everywhere.
The other thing that is we're seeing a lot of is there's a lot of posturing this week about competing with Tesla, trying to beat Tesla, and of course Ford is trying to chase Tesla in the market. We're also seeing General Motors trying to chase Tesla, and two stories that kind of hit me this week was a Ford CEO says he wants to compete with Tesla, and he's going to kind of try and force dealers to stop doing the whole extreme dealer markup thing that dealers have been doing to try and make money during what is a really constrained supply crisis. Do we think he's going to be able to do it?
I think it's going to be really tricky with the laws in place and on the books across the states.
But Ford has a lot of money, so Ford can do that, and I think that would really, really help. The other thing, the other thing that I think is very interesting this week is that Chevrolet has basically said, $30,000 is going to be the starting price for the Equinox EV.
Yeah.
that means the Bolt's dead.
It does. It makes it much more likely. I mean, we knew that the Bolt line was likely to come to an end because it's based on their previous battery technology. And this is another nail in the coffin. Mm-hmm. The fact they haven't updated the charging in it and they just cut the price. It makes it harder and harder to sell that bit.
So the Equinox EV, they want to sell it. I'm just trying to find the press release for this now because I read it earlier on. The Equinox EV is going to be $30,000 US. GM is kind of reiterated this week. We want to sell it for $30,000. We want to make sure that people can afford it. It's going to have faster charging. It's going to have 250 miles ish of range, and it will come next year. So are we saying that the 2024 Bolt will be the last year and the Bolt EUV will be gone as well?
I can see that happening. I mean, it's tricky because it is not the first time that an automaker has had cars that effectively compete against each other.
Right.
And if they can keep making the Bolt and make it cheap enough that it's worth churning out a few more, then it might soldier on in the way that some other lines just kind of tail and... But I don't see any big updates coming for it, certainly.
Well, we saw what happened in the UK in the 70s with British Leyland and Morris and
yes.
Austin, who were all producing essentially the same vehicle with a different badge, right?
Yeah.
I think at one point in history, that would have been acceptable. Much the same way that Apple used to make the Performer 200 and the LC 200 and then a different... They made rebadged versions of essentially the same chassis and sold it to different people. I don't think that GM can afford to do that because Ultium is costing it so much money. It doesn't have the money in the bank. Any automaker would be in the same situation. They don't have the money in the bank to make cross-shopping models when they're trying to basically pare down their output to a simpler design where they've got one or two shared chassis and platforms that everything is built on to try and to bring that cost of units down so they can actually continue to make a profit. So, I don't know. What's next?
What's next? Well, you mentioned Tesla, so we should talk about the fact that Tesla is apparently looking at building a lithium refinery.
Yeah, in Texas.
In Texas.
Nice. Also, Tesla is... No, okay. I'm really mean about Texas for my own personal reasons, but... Look, it makes sense for Tesla to be refining its own raw materials because it can bring the costs down. We were talking to several different industry insiders this week who are all saying the same thing. Battery companies are like sharks. They circle automakers. They go round and round and round and round. They trap them. They get them to agree to ridiculous supply contracts that are 3, 4, 5 years in the future at prices that they're not fixed at. They get you to sign the contract to say, yes, I'm going to buy batteries from you in 5 years' time. And then when 5 years comes along, they go, that'll be more money, please. And Tesla will completely do away with that if it's refining its own batteries.
It will. I mean, this vertical integration that they do does have real significant advantages. It has some disadvantages, but it has some really significant advantages for them.
And I think it's the only way that Elon Musk and Tesla will be able to achieve the promised price parity and the promised cost savings that we saw at Battery Day in 2020, or was it 2021? 2020 we first heard about this. These massive 69% cost savings.
Yeah.
That's the only way it will be possible. Really, absolutely the only way that I think it will be possible. Also, on a Tesla note, there's a rumor going around that Tesla is going to allow customers to vote on where their next superchargers are going to be.
Oh, that is possibly positive.
I mean, it's a good thing, and I think that it's again, one of our criticisms of charging networks is they put charging stations in really crappy places.
Yeah, they do.
And Tesla now has the cachet and the name to come up to if I was a business owner, or a property owner, and let's face it, a lot of these big malls and these big apartment complexes and big places where they're likely to want charging, they're now owned by investment bankers or they have significant stakes. This week, I think one of the biggest rental companies in the US sold $2 billion of real estate to Blackstone. And they are now going to be massive, massive corporate landlords. They have the money. If Tesla comes calling, go, hey, can we install some Tesla superchargers there? They would be fools not to.
Yeah,
they really would.
The one concern that I have about that is it means that Tesla owners are choosing where those go. And that doesn't necessarily encourage new people to move into that ecosystem.
And it also continues to disenfranchise people who really could benefit from electric vehicles. And look, that's something that, let's finish on that. We have driven through pretty much all of Oregon on our trip down and all of California.
Yeah.
And we travelled through Weed, where they had literally, as in less than an hour earlier, successfully extinguished a massive fire that had been raging there for 4 days or more. And we drove past hectares and hectares of just burnt to crisp forest. We saw extremes in temperatures. We recorded 37 degrees Celsius. 47 degrees Celsius, yeah. 47 degrees Celsius in the truck. And I think your car said the same.
Yeah.
That's 116 degrees, 117 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not normal temperatures for the Pacific Northwest.
No.
It's not normal temperatures for Northern California, which is where we were at the time. And we've got to get more people plugging in. We've got to get more people driving electric vehicles, and that isn't going to happen if we focus on just high-end automakers. And that's really the thing that this trip has...
It's driven it home for us.
It really has. I mean, sure, we were on radio. So for those who don't know, there are 5 of us here in San Diego for Fully Charged Live. There's myself, Kate, Erin, who's hiding away in one of the bedrooms in our apartment here, and then there's Michael, who's operating the camera, and then there's Moss, who's our merch person. And because we have so many cameras, because we had lots of merchandise to sell. So if you are coming down to San Diego, bring your cards, because we've got an exclusive design for the event that I wish I could show you, but I don't have it right now. We have an exclusive design that we are going to be selling at Fully Charged Live, and that means that we had a lot of stuff with us. We had all of the food, we had all of the water that we wanted to drink, because, again, we brought our own water. We didn't want to add extra problems to California's water supply. And so we had 2 vehicles, and we had radio contact between the vehicles, and that was our very, very front and center conversation all the way down was, oh my God, what are we doing? We went over one particular viaduct.
Yeah, and you can normally see the water. I mean, it's a big, deep, only it's not. It's just a deep valley now.
With a little tiny
maybe a little
river.
Stream in the bottom. You could go paddle in it.
And, we really have to solve this problem. I don't want to finish this on a downer, but I think if you're watching this channel, you probably are in the same way as well. So
I can give a tiny little news story.
All right, let's finish with something positive.
Higher electrical rebates now available in Pennsylvania, and it has an income cap, and they've increased it more than 3-fold.
Yeah, that's good. I would like it if all electric vehicle rebates came with a cap that was closer to the mean salary for a region, not how much money people were actually, how do I put this? People who are earning above $150,000 a year do not need incentives to buy an EV.
No.
And that means my family doesn't need My family doesn't need an incentive.
Well, I've managed to miss every incentive except for the federal tax rebate on the second car.
And your solar panels, which you're discussing.
Oh yes, and that actually, yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
cars,
we don't need people who are in a good job and a good salary to be able to get it. If you've got two adults in the family and they've both got good jobs, we shouldn't need to be incentivizing. But if they are people who are in a job where the median salary, they are close to the median salary, they are the people who really need help to electrify. Because those are the ones who had no choice when gas was $5 or $6 a gallon. And I know there's a lot of people who get very upset about us saying that, but good on Pennsylvania for increasing it. And good on you for watching at home. I hope that you enjoyed this. There are a whole ton of stories that we didn't get to cover. I know we have tried not to ramble, and I hope that you will come and say hello at Fully Charged in San Diego this weekend, if you are in fact down here. If not, you know what? Have an amazing weekend. We will be back next week with our usual content. We have filmed so much. I don't think I'm going to have to make a video in front of a camera other than car reviews for like the next 2 months. Which is quite nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll see me starting to become a little bit slimmer. Because I've been losing weight and I've lost 10 pounds. So go me. Anyway, thanks for watching. We don't have the list of patrons because that's not normally what we do on 10. But if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video around with everybody because it really does help. We had a video go viral recently and it really helped because people were sharing it and engaging with it, and that really helps. And Kate does all of the content moderation for most of it. And it really helps, doesn't it?
It does. We got tons of comments on it, and yeah, the view count on it is really good. It made a huge difference. So please, share our videos. Share them everywhere you can.
And if you like this format, unfortunately we can't do this regularly because we live about 120 miles apart, but when we are together, maybe we'll try and make some more of these videos. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving.